Hello, BookTube. Well, it's the 1st of August, and you all know what that means in BookTube land. That means Garbaugust, which has been dubbed by Michael K. Vaughan the greatest BookTube event of them all. It was created by Olly at Olly to celebrate the reading of trash in the month of August. The motto this time around is to stop wearing and just read trash, because as Olly points out in his announcement video, I'll leave a link if I remember to his announcement video, the world all around us has never looked grimmer, not in all of our lifetimes. So what better time to take relief from that by delving into trash? What better way to do that? And I agree completely. I am all on board for Garbaugust. And I don't know what theme I will be pursuing. There is everything that you want, all the bells and whistles for Garbaugust. There are read-alongs, 2 read-alongs this month. One is a Jilly Cooper novel that is so much fun. There's also themes for each week. I think the first week is Anything Goes. But of course, I'm sure that Olly would be the first person to say, if you just want to read one garbage book, you're welcome to. You don't need to follow any rules. Just needs to be trash. And in previous Garbaugust, I have read a lot of trash, but the month has exerted some kind of Ouija board theme onto my reading, unbeknownst to me until it happened. And I'm wondering if that will happen this month. I'm wide open to it. I am leaving myself wide open to the algorithm for Amazon, for Google. I'm leaving myself wide open to see what it will be. Will it be tentacle fiction? Will it be twincest? Who knows what it will be? I have a feeling that Kindle Unlimited and all of those ebook indie published deal sites that I sign up for, I have a feeling that they will guide me in the right direction for my trash in August. So I didn't add a trash book to my pile last night because I knew that Garbaugust was starting, and I wanted to give a little prep talk first. The kind of prep talk that I give every year for Garbaugust, because Garbaugust is the only BookTube event that has some people partaking in it wondering whether or not it actually exists. And I am here to say, as I do every year, that yes, Garbaugust does exist because garbage books do exist. Garbaugust is a time when casual tourists to the event will be more strongly tempted than ever to haul out a line guaranteed to make steam pour out of Steve's eyes and ears. And that phrase is, it's all subjective. It is not all subjective. There are, in fact, trash books in the world. There are, in fact, garbage books in the world. If there weren't, we couldn't have a Garbaugust, now could we? It's not just a question of what does Dick Cavett say? There are books that are garbage. That's why we concentrate on them in August. And along those lines, we should differentiate different kinds of garbage, because there's kind of a quadrant. I won't say a spectrum, but there's kind of a quadrant. On the one, let's say, there's a kind of garbage that we're not talking about in Garbaugust. Garbaugust is not designed to make anybody feel bad. Garbaugust is not designed to reverse snobbery anything. So there's a kind of garbage that we're not talking about here. The kind of garbage that I and my professional colleagues in the critical world deal with all the time. And that is books that are being on the short list for awards, that win awards, that get on book clubs, that get talked about and reviewed, that are nevertheless junk. This is not that. The quadrants that I'm thinking of are far more self-evident. So you've got a quadrant here. You've got high and low, high and low. On the one half of this box is lowbrow garbage, what we could call lowbrow garbage, where it's extremely obvious to the reader what it is, and there's just 2 different kinds of it. One is where the writer doesn't know, is not in on the joke, and the other is when the writer is in on the joke. When the writer is writing, what they know perfectly well is garbage. The writers of that quadrant are writing the kind of thing that perfectly aligns with the mission of Garbaugust this year, which is to stop wearing and just read trash. They know what they're doing. They know what they're writing. They're usually having a blast doing it. That is my favorite kind of trash. That is the kind of trash that I love most to read. The other part of that half, the other quadrant of that half of our square here, is self-evident trash where the author doesn't know. Where they don't know that's what they're writing. Where in fact they might think they're writing just the opposite, something brilliant. And that's not as much fun. It can be. But it can be not as much fun. Sometimes the selling point, the thing that will make a garbage read extra enjoyable so that you're laughing about it when you're remembering it for days after, is just how serious the author is. Sometimes that is true. But sometimes that seriousness takes a horrible form. I'm thinking here of, for instance, the Turner Diaries, which is definitely on this half of... You trash dog. Baby. How you doing? What you doing up there? Huh? You looking at your fans? They love seeing you. They do. They love seeing you. Oh. Do you want help getting down? You just woke up. You don't know what you want. Do you want to come down here? There you go. There you go. What was I saying? Before I get interrupted by my trash puppy. Oh, right. So, if you don't know what the Turner Diaries are, that's okay. You shouldn't know, and you absolutely shouldn't read it. But still, there is a book that the author thought he was writing something serious and very important and brilliant. And it is self-evident trash, but it's not the fun kind of trash because of the author's attitude. Now, sometimes that's not true. Sometimes an author, I'm sure you've read books like this, will be sitting down at a typewriter, pounding out a work that they think is the greatest thing in the world. And it's actually really bad and really silly. And they don't see it, but the rest of us do. I'm not talking... that side of the square can be either one of those. And then there's the other side of the square, where the product is more ambitious. Bigger, maybe, more nuanced, maybe. And where... again, the dividing line between the two sides, the two squares on that side of the box, will be the author's awareness of what they're doing. Is the author writing high-class trash? Trash where the author knows it's trash, but is still trying to do the best possible job? A perfect example of that I think would be Jilly Cooper, who writes really good trash. She writes really good trash. Another example I might say, I think the author would probably yell at me, maybe throw something at me, but I think I would include the Flashman books in that upper quadrant of that side of the square of trash books that are really, really good. And then on that half of the square, there would also be trash books that are really, really good, but the author doesn't know. The author is the only one who doesn't know that they're writing really, really good trash. And here I have an example in mind, but I can't really say that example out loud on BookTube if Michael K. Vaughan is listening. Now can I? But anyway, even if you blur those together, you see what I mean. That there are a lot of nuances involved here, and a lot of them revolve around the author. Does the author know? Is the author in on the joke? And sometimes the author will be super serious, so they'll be writing trash and they won't know it. Even if they go on to write other things that maybe people don't think are trash. There's a particular crime novelist who is honored, just got a long biography. He wrote 5 novels about a sandal-wearing, open-shirt, sexy private eye in Florida that are terrible. He didn't write them under his own name. They're awful. But I don't think he would have admitted that in his own lifetime. I think he would have said, "No, they were serious. I just was breaking out. I wasn't sure what kind of books I was going to end up writing. That's why I used to pseudonym." And there's also, when it comes to trash that I would like to think the author is in on it, it would be the Last Ranger series by Craig Sargent, the author going under the pen name of Craig Sargent, which I very well may reread from first to last for Garbaugust. In fact, I might start with that until the vagaries of the algorithm have their way with me. I just wanted to make this video to discuss various kinds of trash. Get you, maybe sound off to me in the comments or in my email, sound off to me on various kinds of trash. Notice the kind of trash I'm not talking about here. The kind of trash that we don't talk about on Garbaugust. Even I don't. And that is Jonathan Franzen, David Foster Wallace, Karl Ove Knausgaard. These guys write trash. They write absolute garbage. Their books are completely without merit of any kind. But I would have to argue that, and there'd be plenty of people who would argue back. And that would be unfriendly. It would get unfriendly. It would certainly be adversarial, and there's nothing adversarial about Garbaugust. So that's the kind of thing we're not talking about. There are people connected with Garbaugust who might claim that, the novelization of the 5th X-Men movie is actually good. I have read that book. Books like that, when you bring them up, and usually they aren't good. There might be arguments there, but they'd be very good-natured, because anyone who's going to bat for the Alan Dean Foster novelization of The Thing knows the thin ice they're on. Whereas they're not going to put on any airs. Whereas someone going to bat for Jonathan Franzen, they're going to think they have the literary establishment behind them. It'll be a different conversation, is what I'm saying, and a less friendly one. So we're not talking about that. Garbaugust is not a field day for Steve to start pointing out that all your favorite books stink. No. Instead, this is an event mainly focused on books that I think we can all agree stink. It'd be nice if we could all agree that they stink to one degree or another. And I just wanted to raise that subject. I wanted to point out, as I do every year, that Garbaugust actually exists. There are actually garbage books. It is not all subjective. Okay. But I don't know to what extent I'm preaching to the choir on that. I just wanted to clarify, and also to raise all the different kinds of garbage. What are your favorite kinds of garbage? Do you like the kind of garbage in the right-hand side of the quadrant where you're laughing at the author because they don't know they're writing garbage? Do you actually like that? Sometimes I get a kick out of that. But I mostly prefer garbage where the writer knows where they're in on the joke. I mainly prefer that. That way nobody's hurt at all. No feelings are trampled in any way. And I prefer that. So, but anyway, we are off to a start. We are off to Garbaugust. What are your Garbaugust plans? Are you going to follow the prompts week by week? Olly is a fast reader, like me. A lot of you won't be able to do 4 trash books in August. And so the weekly prompts might be irrelevant to you. Are you going to try and follow them anyway? Or are you going to pick one and stick with it? I'd love to know. Are you going to do rereads? Which kind of trash do you... Assuming that you don't like the serious kind of trash that is corrosive. Presuming that you don't like that. What are the other kinds of trash that you do like? These kinds of discussions always fascinate me. And I will report back once the winds of fate have decided what I'm going to be reading. Will it be M-Preg? Will it be Twincest? Who knows? Who knows? I will report back, and I will see you soon. We are now well and truly launched on one of BookTube's most beloved events, Garbaugust 2025. How much fun. So I'll see you all throughout the month of trash. Thank you, BookTube.